Just one more reading, page 394. Nagarjuna's Six Perfections. At this point, one becomes able to contemplate immeasurable and boundless space. Once one has developed this contemplation, there's neither suffering nor bliss, and as a result, one's mind gains enhanced capacities. This is comparable to the circumstance of a bird, which has been confined in a vase when the vase is finally broken, and it makes its escape. This is referred to as the absorption associated with the station of boundless space. Akasa anantya, ayata nasamapati. The space of wherein is merciful and unbounded. When one implies consciousness to take boundless space as an objective condition, if one focuses on it extensively, one may tend toward having one's absorption become scattered. This is a circumstance that has the capacity to destroy one's meditative absorption. As the practitioner is contemplating empty space, he then takes the feeling perception formative factor, and consciousness aggregates, as objective condition contemplates then as being like a sickness, like a boil, like an ulcer, like thorns, an impermanent suffering, empty and devoid of self, as deceptive as existing only through the conjunction of conditions and as being inherently unreal, the boundless consciousness absorption. After having borne those objective conditions in mind in this manner, he relinquishes the practice of taking empty space as an objective condition. He then takes only consciousness itself as the objective condition which is contemplated. How then it is that one can take the presently manifest consciousness as the objective condition and also take the immeasurable and boundless consciousness of the past and future as objective conditions? This consciousness is measurable and unbounded. In fact, it is just as immeasurable and unbounded as was the case with the empty space, taking the focus of the precious absorption. This is referred to as the absorption associated with the station of boundless consciousness. Vijnana Anantya Ayatana Samapati. This consciousness is immeasurable and bounded when one employs one's consciousness to take consciousness as an objective condition. Since these manifestations of consciousness are many, one then tends towards having one's absorption become scattered. This is a circumstance which has the capacity to bring about destruction of one's meditative absorption. The practitioner contemplates the taking of consciousness as the objective condition as well as the aggregates of feeling, perception, formative factors, and consciousness regards them all as being, like a sickness, like a boil, like an ulcer, like thorns, as impermanent, suffering, empty, and devoid of self, as deceptive as existing only through the conjunctions of conditions and as being, not really existent. The nothing whatsoever absorption. After having engaged in this contemplation, he then demolishes the distinguishing characteristics of consciousness. This renunciation of the station of boundless consciousness and the praising of the station of nothing whatsoever. This demolition of the distinguishing characteristics of consciousness and the anchoring of the mind is nothing whatsoever. This is referred to as the absorption of the station of nothing whatsoever. Akinkanya ayatama sapati. In the station of nothing whatsoever, one takes as objective conditions the aggregates of feeling, perception, formative factors, and consciousness, and regards them as being like sickness, like a boil, like an ulcer, like thorns, as being impermanent, suffering, empty, and divided self, as accepted as only existing through the conjunction of conditions, is not being really existent. The neither perception nor non-perception absorption. He contemplates then in this manner thinking stations characterized by non-perception, like boil, stations wherein perception does exist are like sickness, like boil, like ulcer, like thorns. The most sublime stations in the station of near perception and perception. Naiva sanjna, nasanjna, ayatana. Neither perception nor non-perception. In the station of neither perception nor non-perception, there exists the aggregates of feeling, perception from the effect on consciousness. How then it can be said that there is neither perception nor non-perception? It's because there exists therein a perception which is faint, subtle, difficult to be aware of, that is commonly referred to as not having any perception, hence the designation neither perception. It's because perception actually does exist, albeit feebly. That is also referred to as not being devoid of perception either. Hence the designation nor non-perception. When this absorption develops in the mind of a common person, he believes that he has gained in reality concordant realization of the true character of dharmas and that this constitutes nirvana. Within the Dharma of the Buddha, although we are aware that perception does exist there because that absorption already possesses this designation, we regress in referring to it as the station of neither perception or non-perception. Page 395.